What if I told you all you needed to do was open this door behind me and it would instantly activate your dream life? It would instantly get all the things that you wanted and desired. Would you open it? What if I told you there's a catch? What if I told you you had to trade something in order to open that door? Would you still do it? Because your dream life may cost a few things. And one of the things that I realized cost for me is that I need to let go of things. And so one of the things that I did was I managed to fit my entire life in a 20 kg suitcase, or a suitcase weighing 20 kg. And it was something that I would never think that I would do. But I'm actually living this life where I have time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. I help others transform their lives, and I live a meaningful life. This last year, I've traveled to maybe 5 different countries, and I've been able to explore the world pretty much. And there's obviously countries that I've never been to and things like that, but I've done a lot of traveling and experienced different cultures, and it's a beautiful life that I've created for myself, and it didn't happen by accident. And so I want to ask you, like, what is it that you hold on to mentally? What stresses do you hold on to? What anxieties do you hold on to? What belief systems and identities do you hold on to that don't serve you? How are you thinking about life in general? And how do you think about yourself in general? And can you let go of these thoughts and emotions that burden you? Because what I think we need to understand is that the universe is always flowing through us. It's perpetually flowing through us. But certain people can only hold and contain so much energy flowing through them because they've been conditioned, right? Because they've had so much stuff happen to them, traumas, hardships, breakups, divorces, pain, injuries. You know, all of this stuff can cause us to have certain thoughts about life, certain experiences make us think a certain way about life. And that can be really detrimental to how we feel on the inside. And we live in a society where, you know, we're consuming foods with all the chemicals and the hormones and the pesticides and the fluorides and all of this stuff. And, you know, we consume foods that mess up our gut bacteria, which is then going to mess up our serotonin and our dopamine levels and all this stuff. And so many men are experiencing low testosterone. And we live in a reality where we are not as happy and fulfilled as we could be because there's a burden on our shoulders and we're carrying a lot of weight, and we're not realizing that this is not how life is supposed to be. With all this fast-paced internet, fast-paced social media, things happening all the time, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit. Is that how our reality is supposed to be, or is that how we are evolved? Our brains are not evolved for this stuff. And so again, the dream life is behind the door. And sometimes we have to realize that we need to do some things in order to get to the goal, to open that door. So I remember when I first got started in the law of attraction and starting my business, I literally stopped listening to music. I know this might sound crazy, but I stopped listening to music. More specifically, I stopped listening to music with lyrics. Okay, so I would only listen to music that didn't have any lyrics, or I would find music that were a little bit more soft, bossa nova kind of music. And at the time, I was actually really sensitive too. Just to let you know, I was sensitive to the energies, I was super empathic, and my health was really bad. And so I couldn't even handle the music, right? And so I wouldn't watch certain things on the television. In fact, I stopped watching TV too. And this actually brought back a lot of time, focus on starting my business, making it successful. So can you see, in that one instance, I let go of things that maybe I'm a little bit addicted to, or like I desire to do or have, and I let it go in order to bring something else into my life. So this is maybe a little bit extreme, or might sound extreme to you, but for me, I knew that, hey, if I'm willing to do what other people are not willing to do, I will get what other people will never get, right? There's a saying, do in life what others won't, so you can have a life that people don't. And so now in life, I have a lot of things that people don't because I was willing to do certain things that most people are not willing to do. And another thing that I started to do as I got into my spiritual journey, first I got into the law of attraction, and then for the law of attraction, that kind of brought me to spirituality. And I started to learn about healing, right? Energy healing. I remember I took my first Reiki session in Thailand, and I wasn't even skeptical. I just heard it was really good. People were talking about it, and so I just wanted to get a Reiki session. And I got my Reiki session done, and the guy told me, he said, "Hey man, you got a big shield around your chest." And it really resonated with me because I felt like I had a heaviness in my chest. And I actually had a condition called costochondritis, which is basically inflammation of the sternum. And so it's kind of crazy that I had this in my chest. And he said it was from past lifetimes, and I built up this shield around my chest. And I always felt like I wasn't able to open my heart completely. I felt like I wasn't able to receive love fully. I felt emotionally numb. And so can you see how being emotionally numb and being blocked off from receiving love can block you from manifesting abundance? Because manifesting abundance is receiving love, if you really think about it. And so I was emotionally numb. And so I realized that if I'm emotionally numb, am I able and capable to access vibrational frequencies emotionally in order to attain the life that I want, right? Does that make sense? Being emotionally numb doesn't correspond with the life that I'm picturing in my mind. And so instead of visualizing, expecting the thing to happen, or trying to force myself to take action towards my goals, I was like, no, you know what I need to do? I need to figure out how I feel more. How can I experience more emotion? It was kind of scary because me, experiencing more emotion as a male, sometimes that's not looked at as a good thing in society. And so, a man doesn't want to be called emotional. A man doesn't want to be looked at as weak. And so it was kind of scary. At the same time, I knew it's something that I needed to do. And so I went on a journey to figure out how to heal my emotion so that I can experience more emotion. And so for some of you, it might be the opposite end of the spectrum. You feel too much emotion and it's unmanageable. You're all over the place, right? And maybe you wear your heart on your sleeve and you fall in love really easily and you don't understand why. So this is something that can be healed. Not that there's anything wrong, it doesn't mean you're broken or anything like that, but we gotta understand that when it comes to the heart chakra, when it comes to emotion, sometimes the heart is too wide open. And so you're exposed, your energy is overstimulated, if that makes sense. Some people, their sacral chakra or their root chakra is overstimulated, and so they're feeling really sexual, okay? And so they get addicted to pornography or addicted to sex or wanting to have sex all the time, right? Or they start getting into things that are a little bit in the gray area, if you know what I mean, right? And so we got to realize that we can all find balance and equanimity in our being if we take time to understand that we have the capacity to do amazing things. The other day, I was my partner and speaking about communication, because this is one of the challenges that I've had throughout my life experiences, communication. I call myself Gavin Speaks, and I'm doing a YouTube and I talk to people all the time, but it's one of the things I had an issue with expressing. And you would never think that, right? And she done this system with me, right? Where she tapped into my subconscious mind and she was talking to certain parts of my subconscious mind. And when we shifted this part of my subconscious mind, instantaneously in that moment, I felt like I could look into her eyes more. I felt more grounded. I could feel more emotion. It didn't take me effort to speak or talk. Prior to that, I had symptoms of autism where I was struggling to listen to people, to hear people's voices. It was annoying and it felt like I was being attacked, literally sometimes. And it's like I was struggling with light sensitivity and all of this stuff. And through that one shift, I now experienced a completely new reality that I'd never experienced before, because I never knew what it was like to not have those symptoms. I've been experiencing it my whole life. And so a lot of us have this belief system, this is how I am and I'm gonna stay like that, but it's not entirely true. And there's so much science and logic-brained people would say it's impossible to do certain things. I remember one time I had a session here on YouTube, a live session, and it went for 4 hours long, I believe, and I was healing people's traumas. Bam, 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 healing people's traumas, right? And there were people that were saying, this is impossible, it can't be done, etc., but I did it, right? People were thinking it takes years and years and years to heal these traumas. It's not true. And so these are all things and ideas and concepts we need to let go, so we transcend what society is telling us. What do you want to believe? What would God or the universe believe? What would your higher self believe? How would they think? So in saying that, what I'm saying is, what thoughts, emotions, beliefs, identities do you need to let go of so you can step into God level awareness, right? God level awareness is when you realize you're not the mind, you're not the emotions, you're not the body, you're the awareness of it all. And Eckhart Tolle calls it presence. Presence is a very, very powerful state. And some people call it the 0 point as well. It's like you visualize the thing that you want, and then you go into 0 point and you surrender, you let go of the visualization, and you let the universe do its thing. So for me, I realized that if I let go of material things that I own, let go of a car, right? I don't need a car in London. I can get the bus, right? I can buy a bike. I can take the train. It depends on where you live in the world. I know sometimes you need a car, but a lot of us don't need the iPhone 14 or whatever the latest iPhone is and the latest Galaxy is. I can tell you, I've hung around millionaires and they don't have the latest iPhone 14 or whatever it is, but people who are middle class and lower class have these advanced phones that cost hundreds, thousands of dollars. Why is that? Can you see? We need to let go of these beliefs. We need to let go of these concepts. Oh, it's got a better camera, it's got a better this, you know. I want to treat myself. These are things that we need to understand. That I need to treat myself to the cake. I need to treat myself to the phone, the newest phone, right? That's a feeling, that's an emotion that you might need to let go of, right? Because I would rather trade that feeling of I deserve it, I need to treat myself. I need to treat myself to my new life. I need to treat myself to making a certain amount of money per month. I need to treat myself to more confidence and certainty. I need to treat my body with the foods that it needs and desires. I need to treat my future with a big savings account, the retirement, right? I need to treat myself with being able to travel the world. You see, sometimes people will get the latest iPhone that costs $1,000 or whatever, right? And then they'll say, I don't have money to travel. Does that make sense? And I don't mean to be harsh or hard. I'm just bringing you back to reality so we can escape the matrix together. We're all in this together, and we need to co-create our new reality together, right? We need to understand that as a conscious person, there's a certain level and degree of responsibility. And responsibility is one of the most powerful forces in the universe when you can really understand that and take responsibility for everything in your life. And so we got to understand that we're in this together, and that we need to do this together, that collectively, if we're all realizing that we need to let go and free our minds and free our emotions and free the societal norms and the conditioning, we transcend into new ways of thinking and behaving and treating each other, which will lead to generations and generations to come of magnificent beauty. And it all starts here in realizing this life is your life, but it's not just about you. We got to think on generations to come, especially if you're going to have kids, or if you have kids already. What are we willing to do? What are we willing to trade? I remember another time, like I started sleeping less. I'm not saying that you need to do this, by the way. I'm not saying that you should sleep less, but this is what I was willing to do because I know now when I have children, they're gonna have a good life. And now I'm grateful that I did that, because now where I am now, it's like, damn, like I can give a child a really amazing and beautiful life. Does that make sense? And so it's like, we gotta really like transcend and get into higher levels of feeling, thinking, and behaving. And gradually we actually get closer and closer to source, and the universe is able to flow through us more. And so I guess you could label me a minimalist, right? Because I don't have a lot of things. I don't own a lot of things. But you know what I do have? I have joy. I have peace. I have fulfillment. I have freedom. I have literally freedom to do what I want when I want. I don't need to make this video today if I don't want to. You know, I have this life that it works towards. It took me 2 years to make my first sale online. Nowadays, people are making their first sale within a month. They're saying that's too long. It's like, it took me 2 years to make my first sale, and some people are saying it's too long to wait a month for their first sale online. You know, and it's like the internet now, you want to make money online, much easier than it was when I started. And so there's so much opportunity out there. We just need to figure out, okay, what do I need to be so that I do the actions that lead to the results that I want. Be, do, have. Right? Most people do, and then they think they have, and then they be. Right? So they do things, they take actions, and they think they get results, and then they become someone. Or you have to become someone in the now, because this is where you're creating from. And this beingness, it's a new reality already, because you're behaving, thinking differently. So you're stepping into new decisions, lead to new realities. Right? So let's say, for instance, if you're looking on screen right now, there's a reality here and there's a reality here, right? Two realities, but you're here, right? And so one version of yourself who's just being the normal everyday version of yourself, go to the right. Right? That transcended version of yourself, go to the left, would make that decision, because you're thinking differently, you're feeling differently, and so you're behaving differently. And so that gets to the reality that you are after. Does that make sense? So you need to realize that when we be, right, we start doing things differently, and we have things differently. Right? We have the life that we want. Behind this door is your prize. You're willing to in the work, willing to take action? Are you willing to do the things that create that? One of the most powerful things you can do is a Ho'oponopono, healing emotions, healing thoughts, healing your reality around you, literally. Go look into Ho'oponopono and apply it into your life. One of the most powerful things you could do for yourself. Maybe I'll make a Ho'oponopono meditation here so that you can listen to the frequencies and the healing, and add a subliminal underneath so that you can get programmed subconsciously for the Ho'oponopono. Below, if you want me to do that for you, want one-on-one coaching with me, there's going to be a link in the description. All right, I appreciate you watching this video. Watch this video over here, and remember to keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.